Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we gotta talk about the blue state insanity. I got two articles that will talk about the blue state insanity and so much more, but before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is the Connecticut-based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you guys want to be able to say stuff without fear of being blocked, suspended, or deplatformed on all the other social media platforms, well then, head on over to my friends at minds.com. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with Byrna.com. Byrna.com is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top-of-the-line Byrna SD, LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their compact launcher, guys. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and your right to self-defense, but you want to do it in a less lethal manner, guys, well then, head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply makes their top-of-the-line Megamax diaper, their North Shore Supreme pull-ups, and their Turner boosters, guys. So if you know someone out there like I do who needs to wear adult diapers and who needs to be put in adult diapers, guys, well then, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, because at North Shore Medical Supply, they will make sure that they are diapered up, padded up, and they will make sure that you are protected and you're ready to face the world. So if you know someone out there who needs adult diapers, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, seriously, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Wait, wow, yeah. Wait, that was a mouthful, guys. That was a mouthful. And yes, guys, I am diapered up as always in my North Shore Mega Max diapers with my Eterna boosters. And I'm wearing my onesies from Little Comforts as well. So I'm diapered up, padded up. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So today, guys, I want to talk about these articles. I have like basically 5 articles that all have this one common theme. And what's that common theme, ladies and gentlemen? The trans insanity knows no bounds. The fact that the trans cult insanity is basically so off the charts that school boards, cities, towns, and states are willing to lose federal money just to protect the trans cult, the trans ideology, and the gender ideology where they think that men can be boys or men can be women or women can be men sort of shit. I got a couple of headlines here. Okay, I got a couple of headlines. This one from the New York Post: Virginia teen suspended for questioning transgender student about being in the boys' locker room. This one from the Daily Signal: Education Department acts against Loudoun County schools as school punishes boys in retaliation for attacking trans policy. From the Federalist: Loudoun County School Board deserves prison time for putting trans ideology over kids' safety. And from Louder with Crowder: male students were uncomfortable with a girl who claims to be a boy in the boys' locker room. Now they're suspended. From the Gateway Pundit: Loudoun County schools lunacy. Boys suspended for objecting to sharing a locker room with a female pretending to be male. And from WorldNet Daily: discrimination. Father of the boy punished over trans locker room says he would take the case to the Supreme Court. What, what are all these headlines try to tell you guys? That certain school districts in the United States of America still cling to the trans ideology, the gender cult madness, the trans cult madness, where they think that it's okay for a boy who identifies as a girl to compete in women's sports or enter women's locker rooms or women's safe spaces. And then you got vice versa, where you got a girl who thinks she's a boy and thinks it's okay to enter boys' sports, boys' teams, or boys' restroom. This trans ideology insanity is what the left wants to die on. The left wants to die on this hill saying that, oh, it's okay for a girl who identifies as a boy to go into the boys' bathroom. But at the same time, they think it's okay for a boy who claims to be a girl to go into the girls' bathroom and make the girls feel uncomfortable. But now it's the boys who feel uncomfortable, and the Loudoun County, Virginia school board suspended these boys and saying that, oh, they had to take some it's a sanity course in order for them to go back to school. If I were the parents of those boys, I'd fucking make them lawyer up. I tell them like this: lawyer up, bitch, because I'm taking you to court. I'm suing you in court. I'd be filing a lawsuit, and I'd be saying to the lawyer, you get 10% of the lawsuit money if you can run the school board out of the fucking country. How fast do you think that law firm would be suing the school board to the 10th degree? How fast would they be suing them? Because they'd be hauled into court real fast and they'd be like this. They'd have to be put under oath, deposition and all that, all on video and all that. But I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, the trans cult insanity is what got Democrats to lose the election. People people started fucking waking up and smelling the goddamn motherfucking coffee, realizing that it's not cool to allow men who claim to be women to compete in women's sports, use the women's locker rooms and restrooms and all this other bullshit. And it's the same thing for women who claim to be boys. That's how you got Donald Trump. That's how you got the MAGA cult crowd to win elections. That's how you got the left to win. The fact of the matter is, guys, is this, and I'm just going to say this: the trans cult ideology is the hill that leftists, liberals, trans cult members, and Democrats will die on. They will die on this hill defending like boys who identify as girls or girls who identify as boys. They will die on this hill for it, knowing that they will lose elections to the 10th degree. They will lose royally. I'll give you this one article from the New York Post. Virginia teens suspended for questioning transgender student about being in the boys' locker room. Read you the headline. Two Virginia teen students are being suspended after they were recorded on video questioning why a female student who identifies as male in the boys' locker room. The Loudoun County Public Schools is suspending the Stonebridge High School students for 10 days following a Title IX investigation into the incident earlier this year. Attorney Josh Helter, who represents the boys' family, told 7 News. Helter said that the Loudoun County Public School found the boys to be responsible for sexual harassment, sex-based discrimination in a case that has sparked furious response from parents of the boys, parents, as well as the Virginia's Attorney General, who has argued that the school's agency process was biased and retaliatory. So basically, it's like this: Loudoun County public school system used Title IX to basically intimidate the boys, saying, "Oh, you were sexual harassing this FTM girl," and basically said like this: "Well, we're suspending them for 10 days." To me, that's misuse of Title IX. They were using Title IX basically as a way to protect the transgender cult, but which Title IX, which was reinterpreted by the Trump administration to say that, oh, men are men, women are women. No trans ideology will be part of Title IX. But Loudoun County School District used it anyway to intimidate these boys. To me, I look at it like this. This school board should all be fucking thrown in prison. If I were the Virginia Attorney General, I would be filing criminal charges against the Loudoun County School Board. I would be, I would have the Virginia State Police go to their house, arrest them, throw them in jail, and charge them. Yeah, I would charge them with the very least impairing the morals of a minor. I would be charging them with what? Sexual harassment, sexual assault, because we all know the Me Too movement was to use sexual assault on boys. But guess what? Turn the fucking tables on them and use the Me Too movement and go after the trans cult and saying, look, we don't want girls who identify as boys in the boys' room. We don't want boys who identify as girls in the girls' room. If they want their own bathroom, that's what the handicap bathroom's for. That's what the family locker room or the gender neutral bathroom's for. But you know what? The trans cult don't want any of that shit because they want, in reality, they want the public to go along with their fetish, with their kink, with their perversion, and with their mental illness. They really do. They want to foster their, their their mental illness onto people, and they want people to go along with their shit, even though they didn't want anything to do with it. The fact is, school districts around the country that pander to the trans insanity, the trans ideology, should not get one penny from the taxpayers. They should literally be made bankrupt in a heartbeat. To me, if you're a school district that wants to allow boys to compete in girls sports or girls to compete in boys sports, be prepared to lose federal money. Be prepared to lose taxpayers' money. Because I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. My tax dollars should not go to any school district who allows this trans insanity bullshit. Okay? The problem with the left is that they want to foist this on everyone else. Everyone else is saying, no, we didn't sign for this shit. We didn't sign up for this crap. We want out of it. And I agree with them. And the fact that they want to foist this, they want to push this onto people, this is why these people should not be in the position that they're in. These people should not be in the position. The people who are on the Loudoun County Public School Board should all be arrested, prosecuted, thrown in prison, and for good measure, be put on a sex offender registry for the rest of their goddamn fucking natural life and never ever allowed to be near kids. That is that simple. I look at it like this. I go like this. In my view, if you're a girl who identifies as a boy, or if you're a boy who identifies as a girl, why are you making the 99% of the population uncomfortable when instead you should be demanding for gender neutral or family bathrooms and locker rooms? Why? Or is it that you want to use the women's locker room to push your trans ideology onto them, or to allow any boy who identifies as a girl to go into the girls' locker room, or any girl that identifies as a boy to go into the boys' locker room and force your trans insanity and trans ideology onto people? This is why I've often said like this. The transgender cult madness is the hill that Democrats, leftists, and liberals are willing to die on. They're willing to die for this shit. And to me, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna just say this bluntly. I don't believe that men should be allowed to use women's locker rooms. I don't believe that women should be allowed to use men's locker rooms. There should be like what? Strictly for men, strictly for women. And then you have the third option, which is what we would call gender neutral family bathroom and locker room. It's that simple. But we all know the transgender cult and the leftists will try to demand, have a hissy fit, have a temper tantrum. They'll probably what? They'll probably like soil in their wet diapers because they can't use the locker room or the bathroom that they claim or identify with. I just go like this. You want to have your hissy fit and temper tantrum? Take your ass out the door. It's that fucking simple. Take your fucking ass out the door and you go have your hissy fit right out there. You wanna have a temper tantrum because you claim you identify as a girl, but then you wanna force your way into the women's bathroom and locker room, but then you're trying to make the 99.9% of the female population uncomfortable because you wanna force the girls to play along with your fetish, delusion, and mental illness. And this is why as a libertarian, this is why I go like this. If you want your own bathroom and all that shit, here's the quick, easy solution. Go wear a fucking diaper. Okay? Go wear a diaper and a pull-up. Okay? Don't force don't force the 99.9% of the population to pander to your fetish, mental illness, and delusion. Don't. To me, I I'm a firm believer that family bathrooms, family locker rooms are the best option out there. And if this girl who identifies as a boy is demanding that she use the boys' bathrooms, you tell her straight up to her damn fucking face, you're gonna use the gender neutral bathroom and locker room. We catch you in the boys' room, we are gonna throw you in jail. It's that simple. We're going to throw you in jail. We're going to arrest your parents. And we're going to fine you $5,000. How fast you think? How fast you think they would end that shit? They probably would. They probably would in a heartbeat. To me, the way I look at this, guys, the transgender cult madness is why DSD people like me can't use the bathroom comfortably. We can't use the bathroom safely and comfortably because every time we try to use it, people question like why we're there. People question like for example, like for me as a DSD person, I sometimes like this dress more like a tomboy girl. And many times I go in using the men's locker room. You got guys giving me dirty looks, thinking like, "Oh, what's this? What this fruitcake genderqueer nut and all this shit?" But then the problem is they don't see DSD. They equate DSD people to the trans insanity bullshit. That's why DSD people like me can't use the bathroom comfortably and safely because of transgender bullshit ruined that for everyone else. But I will say this like this. There should be like no 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 leeway for the trans cult. There should be no leeway. If they wanna use the bathroom that they identify with, just tell them straight up to their damn motherfucking face and say, you're going to use the gender neutral bathroom, whether you like it or not. And if we catch you in either the men's or the women's bathroom, you're going to jail. It's that simple. We're going to take the approach of Florida. In Florida, they will arrest you, fine you, and throw you in jail if you're a trans cult member who what is a boy who identifies as a girl or a girl who identifies as a boy who tries to use the bathroom that they're comfortable in the state of Florida. Use that approach and watch how fast the trans insanity dies. Watch how fast it goes downhill. Because the fact that they'll start to realize it's going to eat into their funding for their what their mutilation and what their Frankenstein shit. Yeah, Florida has a way to hurt the trans cult and eat into their pockets, make it so costly that they can't fund their insanity and their bullshit. That's why I'm in agreement with that. That should be done in Loudoun County. My opinion, the Loudoun County School Board should all be arrested, prosecuted, thrown in prison, and be put on a sex offender registry for the rest of their life. And if I were the Virginia governor, which is what, Glenn Youngkin, I would dissolve the school board immediately. If I were the governor of Virginia and I saw that happening to a school board in my state, I'd be like this. I'd be like this, telling the school board, telling the county, your school board's dissolved. Have a nice day. Click. That means the school board can't function. They can't run. That means the state takes over and we clean up the mess. It's that simple. That's why it's like this. If I'm ever a legislator in the state of Connecticut, I would end the trans insanity in less than 2 seconds. I would say like this: if you're female and you identify as a male, you will use the bathroom according to your biological sex. You're caught using the bathroom of the opposite sex that you identify, you go you face what, a thousand. I'm gonna say it like this: a $5,000 fine and what, 2 years in jail. It's that simple. The fact of the matter is, the left and the trans cult want to foster their ideology onto people, but there are people like me on the libertarian side who say, here's a common sense approach: gender neutral bathrooms, gender neutral locker rooms solves everything in one short order. Okay? You leave the women and the boys out, and if you're gender confused or you identify as the opposite sex, you use the gender neutral bathrooms and the handicap bathrooms. It's that simple. But we all know the trans insanity is all about pushing their ideology, pushing their woke bullshit, pushing their woke insanity onto people. And this is why I've often said like this: ever since Trump got elected, woke is dead in America. But woke still survives in what? Enclaves of blue cities, counties, and states. But the rest of the country, woke is dead. Woke is long gone. Woke is done, finished, finito, wiped out. It is basically long gone. That's why it's like this. If the to those boys that got suspended by the school board, I'd file a lawsuit, make them lawyer up, sue them in court, run them out of the country. I would, I would get what, the Alliance Defending Freedom group together and say like this: how you get 10% of the lawsuit money if you could run the Loudoun County School Board out of the country. If you can do that, 10% of the lawsuit money is yours. How fast do you think they be filing lawsuits in court? How fast would they be suing them to the 10th degree? It would be so fast that by the time the transgender cult fucking realizes the shit, they're cooked. They're done. They're finished. They're never going to recover. They're going to be like wiped out clean. And then you'll probably have like the county government come in and say, well, we can't have this trans insanity bullshit. Guess what? As a county government, we're telling the school board, you can't have this. Sorry. Nope, 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 and nope. It's that simple. But I believe like this, and I believe like this. Those boys who stood up, not all heroes wear capes. Not all heroes wear capes. Those boys should be applauded. Those boys are heroes. They expose the trans insanity in schools. And I know this upcoming school year, you're gonna hear a lot of the trans insanity bullshit. And these boys are heroes. These boys are really heroes. To me, this trans insanity should die, should literally be wiped out, thrown back in the closet where it belongs. It's pretty much that simple. It pretty much is. But anyway, I want to talk about these three articles, okay? These three articles, two of them from the New York Post, and one of them's from the Daily Signal. Illegal immigrant suspect in a deadly Florida crash was nearly deported but was allowed to stay after claiming he was afraid. Yeah, right. And this other one from the New York Post, illegal immigrant trucker charged in deadly wreck flown back to Florida after he fled the sanctuary state to sanctuary state. Here and then you got this one from the Daily Signal. Three blue states could be at fault in the fatal Florida car crash, Transportation Secretary said. Here's the synopsis of the story. An illegal immigrant in this country who's here in this country illegally is trying to claim asylum saying, oh, he's afraid that he might get persecuted back in his own country. Gets a CDL driver's license from the sanctuary blue state of California. And you know, in blue states, they want to give illegals everything, okay, including what? Driver's licenses, commercial driver's licenses, a home, a phone, an apartment. But while US citizens have to fucking scrape by for everything, but then this illegal immigrant causes a deadly a truck crash that killed three people in Florida, but then fled back to a sanctuary blue state. This is why it is so dangerous to be on the roads, especially in blue states. It is so fucking goddamn dangerous, and the left is playing Russian roulette with you, me, and everyone else. They are playing Russian roulette and and stacking bodies like it's nothing. The fact that the left, the progressives, the liberals in blue states like California, like my home state, like Connecticut, is willing and nilly to give driver's license to illegal immigrants who can't even fucking speak English. That, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is what's wrong with this country. Why the fuck do liberals, leftists, think that it's okay to give illegal immigrants who can't even speak English, for Christ's sakes, to get a driver's license or a commercial driver's license to drive a truck? If you can't speak English, you shouldn't be in this damn country in the first place. But leftists and liberals will bend their ass over and give illegal immigrants everything. This is why we're deporting them. This is why ICE agents are flooding the zone in blue states and deporting these illegals. And I'm all for it. Because these illegals, many of them who don't speak our language, driving on our roads, makes you wonder how safe it is to be driving like on I-84 or I-91 or what's the other one? I-95. Knowing that you could be in a car crash with an illegal immigrant and that illegal immigrant doesn't have insurance. Why is it that progressives, leftists, and liberals free willingly putting our lives in danger, putting our lives at risk, all for their open borders and nobody's an immigrant bullshit. But they wanna allow illegal immigrants into their country, into the country, and what? Put everybody else in danger? You wonder why. You wonder why, like this, our insurance rates are sky high. You wonder why, ladies and gentlemen, why it's dangerous to drive on the road. Because you never know. You could be in a car crash with a fucking illegal immigrant from God knows what, you know what I mean, who doesn't speak English, doesn't assimilate into our culture, our way of life, and then all of a sudden causes an accident like the one in Florida where this illegal immigrant who killed three people with a truck by making an illegal U-turn? I tell you, man. I tell you. I tell you. This is why the left in this country is willing to sacrifice American citizens just so they can protect their illegal immigrant class. Just because they think that, oh, nobody is illegal, no human's illegal. We get when they if they cross the border, we give them everything: health care, housing, medical care, a driver's license, or a commercial driver's license, or like in Massachusetts where they give illegals what, $3,000 for an apartment, but while a homeless veteran or an elderly can't even get that shit. Telling you, telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I am telling you this. Leftists, liberals, and Democrats, especially in blue states, put everyone at risk and in danger. They put everyone in danger in this country, all because they want to be the liberal policy that says, "Oh, no one's illegal. Everyone's entitled to come to this country," and all this bullshit. But then, what the left doesn't fucking understand, ladies and gentlemen, many of these illegals are wanted criminals in their home country. Many of them are wanted for crimes of what? Rape, murder, robbery, drug crime, or what? Many of them are wanted for crimes against humanity or war crimes. Yeah. And they flee to the United States under what? Biden and Brandon and the leftist Democrat policy, thinking that, oh, nobody's illegal, everybody's welcome into the country. Yeah, Trump said it. The world's not sending their best to America. There's like countries like Venezuela. They release what, criminals, like thugs, cartels, terrorists, in and flood them into America, and then the left thinks that's okay. But when they what, rape, rob, murder, home invade, and kill you, and then you're supposed to be in your casket going like this. Oh, that's okay. No, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. And to me, and to me, guys, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. That's why it's like this. In my blue state of Connecticut, they give driver's licenses to illegals. They give like what? Obama phones to them. They give what? Access to health care. And then meanwhile, people like me have to wait in line to get like medical care while a fucking illegal immigrant with what, six or five kids gets ahead of the line. This is why I'm all for deportation. I'm all for flooding the zone, like Tom Homan said, and also going after them. That means if you got orders to leave the country, we're getting you. But if we get an illegal immigrant in the process, we're getting them too. But then you have the left who's like, what, doxing ICE agents for doing their job. My solution to all this shit is simple. Start arresting every leftist. Anyone who harasses or intimidates or threatens a federal agent, arrest them. Stop being pussy in front of these people. Stop being like so weak, pansy, and pussy. Start arresting these people. You 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 arrest the illegal immigrant, okay? Then you arrest. Then at the same time, you arrest the leftists who are protecting the illegal immigrant. Once you start doing that, the left shuts up it real fast. The left shuts up because they know they'll have to what? Get bail money, get a lawyer, go to court and all this shit. And if they're thrown in prison, bye. We'll see you in 5, 10 years. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, law enforcement ain't doing shit. I mean, yeah, they're doing shit, but they're only going after the illegal immigrants. But then they're not realizing that they should be going after the leftists who are protecting the illegal immigrants. Once you do that, all bets are off the table. Yeah, that's why it's like this, ladies and gentlemen. How come you don't hear leftists defending illegal immigrants in, say, states like what? Florida or Texas? Because you know why? Those states have a strong stance on that. Those states have a strong stance on basically like attacking law enforcement. In Florida, you attack a local, county, state, federal agent, your ass is going to jail. Your ass is going to prison. It's pretty much that simple. Your ass is going to prison. That's why it's like this. I've said this many times on social media. Is this. They need to start cracking down on the left who is protecting the illegals. They need to start cracking down. They need to start arresting them. And if the federal government isn't doing their fucking goddamn job, then I'm going to say this. Then it's up to we, the people, to do it for them. I think like this. And I think like this. If our government is not cracking down on leftists who are harassing federal law enforcement from doing the job that they were assigned to do, that means arresting and deporting illegals, then it should be up to we, the people, to come in and do it for them. Because if our federal government isn't doing the job, I don't care what Pam Bondi or Judge Janine does. If they're not doing the job, if they're not cracking down on these leftists who are protecting the illegal immigrants, then it should be up to the people to do it for them. It should be. Because I'm sick and tired of watching the news every day, watching how leftists harass ICE agents or try to block ICE agents, but doesn't do a damn shit and doesn't even come out with handcuffs or plastic cuffs and start arresting these people. Where's the where's the law and order? You know, where's the law and order? I'm gonna say this to Mr. Trump. Where's the law and order? You got ICE agents doing their job, but then you got the lunatic leftists who are impeding ICE agents from doing their job, but you're not arresting the leftists, but going after the illegal? I like to see more leftists arrested. I like to see them prosecuted and then thrown in prison. I like to see more of that. But you know what? A lot of these what? AUSAs and all that, they're pussyfooting. Either do your job or we fire your ass. We go to Congress and say, fire this asshole. And then get someone who will do the job that we paid for and voted for. Pretty much that simple. Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about this article from the New York Post, okay? This article, UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. Folks, I'm going to say it like this. This is why I'm glad I live in the United States of America. This is why I live in the freest country in the world, okay? Over across the pond in the UK, their government is sending police officers to for and having you arrested for just merely retweeting, like or posting a cartoon that offends their what their protected Muslim or transgender class. This is why I'm glad I live in America. This is why I'm glad I live in the United States of America. Because I tell you what, the shit I say on my podcast show in the UK, I'd probably be thrown in prison for 2 years. But I'm glad I live in America because we have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the First Amendment. UK, the people in the UK, I feel sorry for y'all because you got leftist liberals running this country and basically being the authoritarians that we we see in America, and how the left wants to try to do that here. This is why. This is why. And on top of that, we have the First and Second Amendment. That's why. And that's why it's like this. I'm glad I don't live in the UK because I'll tell people like this. If some UK cop tried to threaten and intimidate me for saying shit about what's going on in the UK, I tell them to go shut the fuck up. I tell them to go shove it up their ass because I live in America. You're not going to enforce UK law in America unless they want a repeat of 1776, which in this case we probably would beat them so badly that it would be like handing them back to UK on a silver plate. But that's why I'm glad I live in America. I'm glad. But I feel sorry for our British citizens over there who have to deal with this tyranny and bullshit, have to live under like an authoritarian government where they arrest you for merely retweeting something or merely speaking your mind about the illegal immigrants in the UK or the illegal Muslims or the illegal Africans. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? They can't reach me. They can't come after me because I live in the United States of America. And if they want to cause an international incident, go ahead. Give it a try. How badly would you how badly would you be spanked upside the head for it? And like Vice President JD Vance said, there's no freedom of speech in the UK. There's no freedom of speech in Europe. I feel sorry for the Germans who have to deal with this shit too. Germans over there. You try to speak up, you try to post or retweet something or tweet something, they have your ass thrown in jail. Yeah. That's why I tell people Europe is becoming an authoritarian region. It is so bad over there that the European liberals will basically pander to the illegal immigrants and jail their own citizens just for speaking up. This is why I'm glad I live in America. I'm glad I live in a country that I can speak my mind. And I tell you this, I look at a picture right here in the New York Post of what? A British cop? And the only thing he's armed with is what? A taser? I'd be able to take that guy down in less than 2 seconds. I'd be able to I'd be able to take like what? My 9mm Glock and put him down right then and there. Yeah, I probably would. Or or since I carry less lethal like a burner, I probably put him down right there so fast by the time I'm done with him, I'd tie him up to the pole and be like this. That's it. Because you know why? UK cops are weak and pussyfied. UK cops would rather like be like those cops on what? Demolition Man. If you ever seen that Sylvester Stallone movie, Demolition Man, where you know what I mean? If you ever seen that movie, that's what UK cops look like. They think like this, like they would rather fine you for swearing and all that shit. Yeah. But here's the funny thing. This is why it's like this. I'm glad I live in the United States of America. I will never travel to the UK because the way their cops are, I will never travel to the United Kingdom. I will never. Even Canada, I wouldn't even travel across the border. I wouldn't even. I'd buy stuff across the border, but I wouldn't even. But I won't. But I won't travel there because Canadian cops are what just as bad as British cops, but Canadian cops are armed like American cops. Yeah, pretty much. But this is why I'm glad I live in America. I'm glad I live in a country that values freedom of speech. I'm glad, guys. That's why I don't live in the UK, never have, never will, and I'll never step foot in any authoritarian leftist country that denies citizens and guests their freedom of speech rights. This is why I've said like this many times. We should have never made a trade deal with the UK and Europe unless that includes freedom of speech. And if they don't agree to that, slap tariffs so high that they'll have to make a hard choice whether to go authoritarian leftist or make a trade deal with Trump that allows their citizens to have freedom of speech like we do in America. hmm Pretty much. Pretty much. But I would say this. I'm glad I'm not living in the UK because I tell you what, the stuff I say on my podcast show here, I'd probably be thrown in a UK prison for it. I probably would. And I'd probably like this. If they were trying to go after me, I'd probably beat up enough cops that by then they'd be all weak and pussy. They'd be sitting in a hospital room. Yeah. But me, I live in the United States of America. We value the freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and our right to bear arms. It's pretty much simple, guys. It's pretty much simple. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about this few minutes before we end the show for today. I know lately I hadn't been on X or slash Twitter because Elon Musk blocked me for saying that, oh, I hope, because I was commenting on an article about a guy who's about to go to prison for prison and then be on death row. And I said, oh, I hope he likes death row. Next thing you know, I get blocked and suspended for what? saying that I hope he likes death row. This is why I'm going to say this on my podcast show. Elon Musk is a grifter. He is using MAGA conservatives, libertarians, and Republicans to boost his image, to boost his profile. Okay? This is why I don't trust alternative social media platforms. I don't trust platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or even now, X. I don't trust those four because those four, or even Blue Sky too, those five, I don't trust those because you can't say that you're all for freedom of speech, but then fucking turn around and then silence people for speaking their mind, speaking their truth. This is why I tell people free speech is on alternative platforms like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Getter, Rumble, Truth Social, and also Vero Social. The seven social media platforms, the seven alternative ones. X, on the other hand, they use AI, and AI blocks me without even reviewing it, without having a person look at it and go, "Not, he gets a pass. He's not harming anyone. He's just saying that, oh, he's going to be on that guy in that article is going to be on death row." Yeah, but you know what? This is why I don't trust Elon Musk anymore. Elon Musk is basically grifting off of MAGA, libertarians, Republicans, and conservatives. I don't trust him. He says he values freedom of speech, but if he values freedom of speech, people like me should be able to be on that platform and say what we want. To me, he doesn't value freedom of speech. That's why I have my alternative social media platforms. That's why lately, guys, I haven't been on X. I've been on my alternative social media platforms, and I tell you what, I get to say stuff that would get me blocked and suspended on all the mainstream platforms. But for me, while I'm on my alternative platforms, I say whatever I want, and I don't have to worry if I'm going to be blocked, suspended, or deplatformed. I literally don't, guys. I literally don't. But I will say this. I will say this, guys. I value freedom of speech. I value the right for people to say what they want without fear of being blocked, suspended, or deplatformed. And I will say like this, guys. And I will say like this. If you value freedom of speech and if you value your right to say whatever you want without fear of being blocked, suspended, and deplatformed, folks, head on to my alternative social media platforms. Head on to the platforms that I'm on, such as Gab, Getter, MeWe, Minds, Rumble, Truth Social, and Vero Social, because those platforms have free speech that would make Blue Sky, would make X, Facebook, you know what I mean, and Instagram envious. It would make them envious of it. Yeah, that's why I hadn't been on X, and I'll probably never go back on it because the way they treated me. And this is why I think like this. Trump and Vance should have a trust but verify policy with Elon Musk. That means MAGA should have the Ronald Reagan policy of trust but verify. That means using the same philosophy as we'll trust you, but we're going to verify before we fully trust you. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Wow, that was a good show, guys. That was a hell of a good show. But anyway, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.